So, before we get underway, I just want to say, I've really been looking forward to this. Look at the rest of this list that we have here. Worgen, Goblin, and Pandaren. In my opinion, these are three of the best starting zones they have ever done. I love all three of these starting zones. I have done the Worgen starting zone a few times. In fact, if my memory recalls correctly, the Worgen starting zone was the very first starting zone I ever experienced in this game. So, fun little fact for my personal history with this game. Years ago, when I first downloaded and tried this game out, one of the very first things that got my attention about wanting to actually try this game out was this race called Worgen, which were werewolves. I'm a big werewolf fan, and the idea of playing a werewolf type of humanoid, type of character with various different class choices, I thought was a really cool idea. When I found out you could play, say, a Worgen druid who could be able to I thought the idea of a werewolf who could shapeshift to other things, I thought the idea of that sounded awesome. So, one of the very first starting zones I ever played, in fact, it may have been the first starting zone I ever played, was the Worgen starting zone as a Worgen druid. So let's just say that, for me personally, this has a bit of sentimentality for me. Yeah, so I just want to throw that little bit out there. With that being said, I'll let you guys know right now, I'm going to try to refrain from trying to imitate the Gilnean accent, because I know it's kind of a somewhat stereotypical British type of dialect, but I remember the videos that were made by Total Biscuit, may he rest in peace, of him checking out this starting zone. And there were some characters in the starting zone that would say stuff in their accent, and he would be like, "Could you please shut up and not talk?" Like, he did not like some of the accents and dialects in the starting zone. So that should probably say something. And I have actually attempted to do it. Like, sometimes I've tried to impersonate Greymane's voice, and sometimes it just doesn't work. So I'm going to probably just talk normally. One, to help out my throat. Two, I don't want to offend any possible viewers who perhaps have a United Kingdom origin who may find my attempts to do the Gilnean accent almost, and a little offensive. So, with all that being said, for Gilneas. Little sip of water before we get underway here.
Led by their indomitable king, Gen Greymane, the proud citizens of Gilneas once stood with the Alliance against the vile, orcish horde that sought to conquer all of Lordaeron. Gilneas survived, but in the chaotic years following the Second War, the mighty kingdom drew ever inward. Distrustful of their former allies, the Gilneans erected a mighty wall at the borders of their land, closing off their nation and their hearts from an ever-darkening world. Now, many years later, as the seemingly unstoppable undead scourge marches across Lordaeron, human civilization once again teeters on the brink of destruction. As war and terror close in all around them, the citizens of Gilneas are faced with one terrible truth. Their mighty wall cannot hold back the dead for much longer. And worse, rumors of a new threat have arisen within the kingdom's borders, of feral nightmare creatures that walk upright as men, but hunt and howl as wolves.
Hey, wait a minute. We're a human.
And the gates manned by 2 guards at all times. No one gets in, no one gets out.
I'll let Liam talk here for a moment. While he does that...
We protected Gilneas from the Scourge. We protected Gilneas during the Northgate Rebellion. We will protect Gilneas from whatever this new threat may be. Stand ready, guards! We don't know how many intruders we're dealing with, but the headlands are overrun and we're cut off from the harbor towns. Expect to be outnumbered. I want the perimeter secured and the gates manned by 2 guards at all times. No one gets in, no one gets out.
So you're probably noticing some lag. Yeah. I'll talk about that in just a moment.
We protected Gilneas from the Scourge. We protected Gilneas during the Northgate Rebellion. We will protect Gilneas from whatever this new threat may be. Stand ready, guards! We don't know how many intruders we're dealing with, but the headlands are overrun and we're cut off from the harbor towns. Expect to be outnumbered.
Yeah. Gonna have to deal with a bit of lag. I'll explain why in just a bit.
I want the perimeter secured and the gates manned by 2 guards at all times. No one gets in, no one gets out.
Okay. So, I hope you caught all that.
Gilneas from the Scourge. We protected Gilneas during the Northgate Rebellion. We will protect Gilneas from whatever this new threat may be. For my people.
What are you still doing here, citizen? Haven't you heard? The city's under complete lockdown. Go see Lieutenant Walden. He'll give you further directions for evacuation.
Stand ready, guards. We don't know how many intruders we're dealing with, but the headlands are overrun.
Let me just kind of get away from him shouting here. Alright. Oh, that's not good. So, I need to point something out here. Actually, a couple things. One is important to know in terms of timeline. The other is kind of a funny little heh because it shouldn't be there. There's actually a third thing I need to mention to explain the lag. This right now is taking place during Warcraft 3. Specifically Reign of Chaos. This timeline-wise, where we are at right now, at this very moment, is taking place just after Death Knight Arthas had returned to Northrend. Now, I want you to pay attention to what's happening to the players that are running up ahead of me. One of them disappeared after you interacted with that. Now, let's see if this one does it as well. We'll also see if this one does it as well. Yep. You know why that's happening? Because there is a ton of phasing in this starting zone. There is a ton of it for storytelling purposes. And personally, I love it. I love the way they use the phasing in this starting zone to tell the story. It is fantastic what they do with the phasing in this starting zone. I'm telling you, it's so good. It's one of the reasons I absolutely love this starting zone. And you will see why, and especially in just a moment. The moment I interact with that body there and turn it in, I'm gonna phase into something else. That's what happened to those players just a moment ago. And that explains why you noticed that I had some lag there earlier. Because of the amount of phasing in the starting zone, there tends to be quite a bit of lag. It tends to be a little choppy, so you're just going to have to bear with me. I know it's not on my end in terms of internet connection, because this PC is hardwired, so I know that's not the case. It's mainly the fact that we are in a very heavily phased starting zone. But yeah. So, this is taking place... So again, I want to re-emphasize, this is taking place in the events of Warcraft 3. This is after Death Knight Arthas has returned from Northrend, and he and the Scourge have killed his father, and are now going through all of Lordaeron. And then, this takes place, I believe, right after the Scourge have started to pull back. Now, it's not because the Gilneans have fought them off. It's because they're being called by the Lich King to head north. Just to re-emphasize where this is. This is Gilneas. This is the city of Gilneas. This is the area, or, country, quote-unquote, of Gilneas. Here's the wall. Now, if you're wondering where exactly is that, it's right here. Well, no, it's Tol Barad. It's right here. This is Gilneas, right here. Here's Silverpine, which means this was Lordaeron, okay? So, the Scourge has been going around through this area, just wrecking everything, including trying to get in Gilneas. However, now, they're starting to pull back. Do you know why? They're heading this direction. They are all heading this direction. Heading north. To quell Danis. Or to quell the lost to go to the Sunwell. This is when they pull back away from Gilneas to make the march through Eversong Woods to get to the Sunwell. That's when this is basically taking place. Now, there's one tiny little tidbit I want to point out here. If you look through this gate, there's a Night Elf ship right over there in the distance. It should not be there, like timeline-wise. That's something that we will get to interact with at the very end of the starter zone. And it shouldn't be there right now. Timeline-wise, that doesn't take place because since this is taking place during Warcraft 3, we're going to be jumping ahead. By the way, in case you're curious why I kept that instead of the other one, the hood, is because, well, let's just say when we get a snout, I don't think it would make much sense to have that, because then it's like, well, it's going to have my snout all scrunched up. But anyways. Yeah. Lieutenant Walden. Deep claw marks run through the man's corpse. Yeah, you're going to have to bear the little gap that it has to acknowledge when I click that, because it's now phasing me. The lieutenant appears to have died from severe wounds. The prince might want to hear this news. You hear the sound of fighting coming from the market. Fighting? I wonder what could possibly be happening over here. Oh my gosh! It's a bunch of rampaging Worgen! So, this is something else I love that they do in WoW, is that when they update the models, it applies to older content. The Worgen recently in BFA had their models updated, and I love them. It's part of the reason why I made my Worgen a female Worgen for this, because I think the updated model looks so good. But that's just my opinion. But all the Worgen models in the starting zone have been changed to match the updated models, and I love it when they do stuff like that. So, by the way, this is Prince Liam Greymane. Now, you may recognize the name Greymane. This is Gen Greymane's son. If you probably have never heard of him, that's because this is... Well, you'll see. You'll see.
For Gilneas.
It's you again. Looks like you're not one to hide in the face of danger. Well, very well then. Worgen! My father had warned me that Archmage Arugel's creations had run amok, but where are they coming from? I suppose it doesn't matter. Help us make quick work of them. We'll show them what Gilneans are made of. The civilians aren't safe here anymore, not even inside their homes. We're doing our best to stop the Worgen from getting indoors, but their numbers are too great. Help us by evacuating the civilian homes. My father's army in the prison district will be able to better protect them. Ah. So, this is Gwen Armstead. She's, I believe, the mayor of this town. Now, you may be going, a mayor? But they have a king. Yes, but it makes sense that they would have a mayor kind of running like the smaller portions of the Gilneas kingdom. Gen's not going to micromanage every small town within the country of Gilneas. Now, she was one of the characters that I was referring to about when Total Biscuit was going through this, and you can still look this up. I highly recommend looking up Total Biscuit Cata, or Cataclysm, or Gilneas, or Worgen, something along the lines. The videos of him going through the starting zones of Cataclysm, even like when they were like back in beta, are still up, you know. And she would have her little phrases, so let me...
Good day. Ain't you a chipper-looking one?
He would hear her say things like that, and he would be like, oh my gosh, will you please stop talking like that? He would not like how she talked at all. He did not like her accent. Listen, Lornix, we can't let our supplies get destroyed. With Gilneas walled off from the outside world, we won't last through winter if we lose much more of our stock. Please help me salvage what you can. And we'll get a bag very early on. Again, because this is a starting zone that was first introduced in Cataclysm and not Vanilla, there are things here that do not reflect how it used to be back in Vanilla. It's just straight up how they had how they had been upgraded the way of doing things when it came to quest design and such by the time they got to Cataclysm. This place isn't safe. Let's leave. Oh my gosh, the lag. The lag.
I need to target something first.
Like I said, I love the starting zone, but the lag here, because of the phasing, it can get a little, yeah. A tad bit of a nuisance. Knock, knock. No time to waste. Oh, I cannot wait to get Moonfire. With the way this lag is, I need Moonfire. Moonfire is really going to help with the lag. Also, just so you know, unlike our Night Elf, ideally I'm wanting to just stay as Balance during our time here. And the reason being is because by the time we got to Legion, Balance actually had a interesting history alongside the Worgen. Especially if you guys get the artifact weapon, the Scythe of Elune. Open up! Protect me, please! There we go. Sometimes a Worgen runs out behind them and they'll be like, ah, save me! And a Worgen will run out and I have to fight it. I really thought that was about to happen just now. Alright, one more. Just because I'm wanting to ding, just to hopefully get Moonfire. There we go. Oh my gosh. Of course, there's a mailbox right here so that you could go to one of your other characters and send your new alt some stuff.
What can I do for you?
Have you salvaged those supplies? Excellent. I'll make sure these get taken to a safe place.
What's your
And
bag?
just like that, we get a bag. That's an immediate sign that things are different in this starting zone compared to how they were in vanilla starting zones.
For my people.
It's no use. They're not letting up. Good job. Thanks to you, many Gilneans will live to see another day. It's time for you to leave, Lorneeks. Go to the military district with the other civilians. Check in with Gwen Armstead when you cross the bridge to the southeast. See if everyone's okay. I will stay here with the guards and cover the civilians' retreat. Go now. That is an order. Yeah. Remember, he is Gen Greymane's son. He is the prince of all Gilneas. So yeah, he is definitely someone that can give us orders. By the way, in case you're curious about why I picked that name, it was mainly just to name this character after Lorna. I know Lorna is not a Worgen and she's not a druid, but I always liked Lorna, especially in this starting zone. We're gonna get to see her pretty soon here, actually. So right away, this is one of the very first important areas that we come across. Oh my goodness, the lag.
Always a pleasure.
Because right over here, you'll see a number of the trainers. Hunter trainer, warlock trainer, druid trainer, priest trainer, Lauren the Fence, who is basically the rogue trainer, a mage trainer, a warrior trainer. Sadly, I do not think there is a monk trainer because I don't believe you can actually make Worgen monks.
What's your story?
We're all fine here, a little shaken, but alive. Does he have a cute little top hat, by the way? Most of us made it here alive, but there are Worgen on this side of the city as well. We're going to continue heading south once everyone's accounted for. That reminds me, someone was asking about you. It was that harvest witch, Celestine. She said that the wind spoke your name. You'd best hurry. We're going to need you to get back to the Worgen smashing once you're done conversing with nature.
That's enough gabbing for me today.
Referring to the fact that I'm a druid and that she wants me to go talk to my druid trainer.
I got a bad feeling.
We have been blessed today. You are alive and well. I have taught you all that is practical for now. It is time that we joined with the other survivors. The others mentioned that King Greymane and his royal guard are just south of here. We should go there and seek safety in numbers.
Long live Greymane.
Speak to King Gen Greymane. So, you guys probably know this by now. I'm not too fond of Gen. There's a number of things he's done that has really irritated me. However, I will say the stuff that happens to him in this starting zone, I sympathize with, but that doesn't entirely forgive the things he's done or make me, just forget about what he's done. Again, I sympathize with what happens to him here in the starting zone, but I still do not like him. And then there's Godfrey.
What now?
/spit.
You have my attention.
I'm holding off on spitting on Greymane too, only because this is one of the times where I do feel for the man. Because of what happens in the starting zone. But anyways. You have done well in coming here. If we Gilneans stick together, we might yet defeat this terrible enemy. Lord Darius Crowley has been called many things. A rebel, a traitor, a terrorist. Before the Civil War, I called him friend. I never blamed him for leading an insurrection against me. His land and people were separated from Gilneas by a stone wall. But we had no choice. Regardless, Crowley is exactly the type of person that we need now. Enter Stoneward Prison and ask Captain Broderick about Crowley's whereabouts. I'd send my own men, but they're still bad blood.
Never let your guard down.
We ought to leave Crowley in prison with those beasts. Let's see if... I don't remember if Gan responds yet. Enough! I've made up my mind. We need Crowley on our side. Fine by me if King Greymane wants you to risk your life to rescue a known traitor. Do me a favor and do something useful while you are out there and kill these cursed fleabags. Yeah, there's nothing sympathetic about Godfrey. If you wondered why I was, like, the things I was talking about or hinting at when we were going through the Forsaken Star Zone and in Silver Pine with our Forsaken, you're gonna see why. Yeah, what he did in Silver Pine was bad, but one of the first horrible impressions you get from him starts off here in this starting zone. So I'll get to show that to you now that we are here on our Worgen. So first off, Moonfire! Dots! And dot! And dot! And dot! And dot! The lag, oh my gosh, the lag! I'm like, okay. I brought them here so you guys could easily tag them. I'm just saying. Trying to make it easier for you guys, but okay. You can tell this is laggy because he's like stopping. He's like, you gonna fight back or something? Oh. Okay.
Glory to Gilneas.
Greymane wants to save Crowley? Has he gone mad? Hey, I've got regrowth. I don't understand why the king wants to waste time saving his hide, but if you want to risk your life, then be my guest. Crowley and his men are holed up upstairs, probably plotting against the king as we speak.
Farewell.
How dare you talk so poor of Mr. Crowley? I'm sorry, I had to do it at least once. It's like, do you know how many people were making jokes about that song when they were going through the starting zone? Or through Silver Pine? Learning things about Darius Crowley. They couldn't help but, you know, that he's Mr. Crowley. That was a very relevant joke. Very common joke, then. And there he is, Lord Darius Crowley. With an eye patch. Without a shirt. And he's ready to fight.
We do what we must.
Greymane's right. These beasts do not give a damn about our politics. Gilneas needs to stand together. One of those mangy fleabags got Dempsey real good. We cannot move him until we stabilize his bleeding. Give us a hand holding back these mongrels. A couple of minutes is all we need, sister. And here come a bunch of them. Woo! That's a bunch of Worgen. Got a couple of Worgen hunters here with us.
Bad feeling.
Will prevail.
By the way, that's what a Worgen hunter gets as their starting pet. Oh, hey, now we got a Worgen warlock here with an imp. Another Worgen druid. Look at how many of us are here. Yeah, look at that dog. That's the starting pet. You don't even get to see it in the character creation screen. All you see is, you know, your human form in its place. Blood fangs. Do those sound familiar?
I need a target.
Remember encountering them in Silverpine? Anybody need a top off of health? Anybody at all? So laggy. There we go.
We do what we must.
We did it. Thanks to you, a good man has survived. Listen, for the first time since the Civil War, I agree with Greymane. Now is the time to put aside our quarrel. It sure doesn't look like these beasts care much whether you're rebel or royal. Send word back to Greymane. My men will join his. There's a safe house not far from here, in Josiah's cellar. My lads stashed some heavy artillery there. Tell our king that my arsenals are now at his disposal.
Go ahead and, can't do that. I'm in combat. I have to get away. Run away. Get out of combat. Alright, there we go. You can also tell I tried to make her look a little bit like Lorna. Like I said, you'll see Lorna in just a bit. Even though you did get to see her a bit in Silverpine, but you get to see her, like, from back then in the starting zone.
What now?
If I hadn't seen you kill a few of the mangy things with my own eyes, I would think you did not complete the task that I asked of you. Looks like we're hardly putting a dent in their numbers. Yeah, screw you, screw you, Godfrey.
Hail, champion. Rebel arsenals? In my own city? What the bloody hell was Crowley up to? The arsenal Crowley speaks of is in the cellar of the building just west of here. It is unnerving that artillery was smuggled inside the city by my enemies. It might end up saving Gilnean lives today. Find Josiah Avery and requisition the rebel artillery. We will put the weapons to good use.
Trust your instincts.
Alright, let's go take a look at these weapons. Arsenal. Woof. Sounds awesome. Ooh. Ooh, cannons. Josiah, are you okay? What's wrong with you?
The pain is unbearable. Don't look at me. Leave me alone.
Hey, what's wrong?
Watch your back.
Ah! He's a Worgen.
You've been bitten by a Worgen. It's probably nothing, but it sure stings a little. So we get the debuff Worgen Bite. The wound looks minor. Maybe it'll go away with time, question mark? And here she is, Lorna Crowley, wielding a shotgun. She, like, this is what I love about her first impression. She's wearing a dress. She has, you know, long black hair down. She's got a rose in her hair. She looks beautiful. And she's wielding a shotgun. like ready to go. With two of these Gilnean Mastiffs at her side. Great first impression.
What is it?
He turned into one of them, didn't he? How do we even begin to fight an enemy that can do this to us? My father's arsenal's certainly a good start, I suppose. Worgen are hiding in the alleys ahead. Take one of my mastiffs to find them more easily. We're going to need to clear the way ahead if we're going to move these cannons up above ground.
This mastiff will help you find the hidden Worgen.
Thank you, Lorna. Oh, by the way, I should go ahead and show this off. Now you're probably thinking, oh, we're going to see a human druid. Yes and no. I mean, if you want, you can.
We've got Aranis.
But we'll get into that later. Oh yeah, there's Godfrey. Where is it? My favorite druid sets. That's the set that I've gotten on my Demon Hunter. This one piece refuses to drop. I have been taking my druid to Molten Core for weeks. This one piece from this one boss will not drop. It is infuriating. But anyone who knows anything about farming transmog pieces in Molten Core can understand my frustration, I am sure. Now, where is it? Ah! Here it is! The heritage of Gilneas. Behold! Yes, yes. Cheerio, pip, pip, cheerio. Top hat. I'll be honest with you guys. When they first announced this heritage armor for the Worgen, and they showed it, and I saw the top hat, I immediately thought of Total Biscuit. Because how could I not? It's a top hat. It was his logo. And he would have his characters wear top hats if possible. If it was possible in the games he played. And I just couldn't help but think of him when I saw this armor. And yeah. I would have loved to have seen his reaction to this heritage armor before he passed on. Yeah. I love that. I can be like, go lurker, attack it. It's right here. Here we go. Because of the little yellow circle on the ground, you can somewhat easily, quickly spot them. Oh, aha! Ha, I see you. I hope this bite just goes away soon. There we go. I was wanting her to get credit as well. He was right there. No, no. Ha. I see. Oh, that's 6 for me. Back to Lorna.
Make it quick.
Excellent. I'll start rounding up some help to get these cannons positioned. It's time, Lornix. We'll take it from here. Tell King Greymane that my father's arsenal will be at his disposal. There's more than enough firepower here to blow the Worgen from here to the North Sea. I knew Crowley would come through. His weapons will be more than useful to us. I keep hovering over that because, well, you'll see. All these years after the war, and Crowley was still hiding enough firepower in that cellar to level half of the district. It might have come to that, unfortunately. We can't open fire just yet. There is a civilian trapped on the other side of the prison. Not just any civilian either. Krenin Arnis is one of the most brilliant alchemists that this world has ever known. One of his potions saved my daughter, Tess, from dying soon after being born. Take my horse and rescue him. Krenin must live.
My people have endured much.
I will say that is something I do like about Gen. The fact that he felt obligated to save this young man because he saved his daughter's life as an infant. Oh gosh, the lag is going to make this a little awkward. Alright, so I got him off the tree, and I'm trying to get him back, but look at this. This horse is having to run through all these Worgen. Yeah, if you were to get knocked off, this would be bad.
Thank you. I owe you my life.
You're welcome.
Speak.
Well done. We'll make sure that Krenin makes it out of the city alive.
We've got Aranis. Fire at will.
Yet another phase. Like I said, a lot of phases. Speak to Greymane. We've done all we can here. Let King Greymane know that we have bought some time. I have a feeling it won't be long till the Worgen are back in force. We'll need to fall back to Greymane Court to the west. If that's the case, it's the last place that we can hold out without being trapped like fish in a barrel. Can you see one of the reasons why I love this starting zone? We are given the story of how our character, who is just a regular normal Gilnean at this point, then becomes a Worgen. Notice our debuff has changed. It is now changed to Infected Bite. The bite wound is getting worse. You don't feel so good. There is excellent storytelling in this starting zone. I absolutely love it. So, Liam has caught up to us here. We now see Darius is up here.
What news do you bring?
Survivors. I think Gwen is here. Yeah, she's over there.
We're left with very few choices. What we do next will be a critical decision.
If we can make it past the gates into Duskhaven, we'll be safe. The eastern mountains are virtually impassable.
Uh-huh. Crowley?
We will prevail.
You don't have to do this.
Worgen's attention in the city again. It's the only shot we have for the survivors to make it to Duskhaven.
I'll stay behind with the Royal Guard, Father. It's my duty to Gilneas.
Not a chance, boy. Gilneas is going to need its king's undivided attention. Can't have your father wondering whether his child is alive or not. My men and I will hold up inside the Light's Dawn Cathedral. I've already given the order, and the cannons are on their way.
We were
Lead our
fools to
people
take
well,
up arms
Gen.
against each other, Darius. The Worgen would have never stood a chance.
Alright, is that it? I'm pretty sure the lag is affecting the dialogue here, so...
You don't have to do this. You've done more than enough already. But if you decide to stay, I'd be a fool to turn you away. My men have fortified their position inside the cathedral and are ready for what comes next. I'm about to head there and take as many of these flea-ridden devils with me as I can. You're welcome to come along for the ride.
Ride with Crowley and round up 30 Bloodfang stalkers.
If we can make it past the gates into Duskhaven, we'll be safe. The Eastern Mountain.
You already said this, Greymane.
Let's round up as many of them as we can. Every Worgen chasing us.
That's what I'm trying.
One less Worgen chasing the survivors.
Oh, that's 30.
You'll never catch us, you blasted mongrels!
Gosh, the lag is really affecting how this is supposed to be looking. Yeah, they are supposed to be like right on our tails. I love how these horses, like, are apparently, like, so good that they are, one, able to outrun all these Worgen, but two, to not lose, you know, their minds and get afraid, being willing to run through all these Worgen like this.
Get gabbing or get going.
Brace yourself. Here they come. The time has come. If we're going to put a dent in their numbers, the time is now. We have the position. We have the firepower. All that remains to be seen is whether we have the courage. And I sure don't see a coward standing in front of me.
Long live
Well, thank you.
Greymane.
Fire the cannons! I said fire the cannons! Oh my goodness. Like I said, I love the starter zone, but man, the lag here because of the phasing at times just get extremely agitating.
What can I do for you?
Really? Hey, I've come up with some bad names too. I'm not gonna hate. Oh, it's a mage. Worgen mage.
You've done well. You've done more than could be asked of any Gilnean. We're running low on ammunition. It's time to regroup inside, now. We had enough ammunition to carry on the Civil War for another month. Yet the Worgen's numbers are such that we are nearly spent. We don't want to be caught out here in the open when that happens. Fall back inside the cathedral and report to the boss. I'm sure old Crowley will know what to do next.
We are bound by
Yeah,
a common
we'll
enemy.
see about that. By the way, take note of how many Worgen are out here. Look at how many Worgen are out here. Some of these were... The idea is that a lot of these were just like the civilians of Gilneas. And this is how fast the Worgen curse, disease, whatever you want to call it, has spread. And right now, there is no, like... These Worgen are not like the Worgen we know now. At this point in time in history, remember, this is Warcraft 3 is when this is taking place. Right now, all of these are just feral animals. That's all these Worgen are. These are people that have become Worgen that are just simply feral animals. Now, yeah, our bite is, yeah, we're not feeling good right now. So there's Crowley waiting for us.
We do what we must.
We've given them everything we have, yet still they come. Do not worry. We'll slay many more before today is over. We've got a good choke point here. Feel free to say a prayer if that's your sort of thing. Take courage and let's kill these mutts.
So yeah, now we've got some stalkers here. Moonfire Dot. Just me and this hunter, we're just gonna be like, yep. Boom. Oh, come on. Oh, there's also a warrior over there. Yeah, we have to go out here and face him. Oh. 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 Go ahead and top off this warrior. There we go.
We will prevail.
They've stopped coming. No, that's not a good thing.
Cutscene. Godfrey.
Look at what you've become. Those cursed beasts. They've left you nothing more than just another wretched mongrel. Do you even remember what you did to your friends? Your kind, haunting the wilds unchecked, until we found you. They've kept you alive because they still believe you can be saved. To which I must ask, is there even a shred of humanity left within you? Perhaps we will find out soon enough.
Yeah. So, this is our character now. So, just to make it very clear, in case it wasn't picked up on in that cutscene, that night we basically succumbed to the bite and became a Worgen. As I said, there was no... Worgen were not able to be the way they are now. Back then, they were just feral animals. And that's what happened to us, to our character. We became a feral animal right there in that building. We turned into a Worgen. Godfrey hinted that we actually killed some of the people in there, because at that point, we were just a mindless feral animal. And years have passed. We have now jumped from Warcraft 3 to Cataclysm. We are now at the events of Cataclysm. The events of Frozen Throne, Vanilla WoW, Burning Crusade, and Wrath of the Lich King have now all passed during the time that we have been a feral, mindless animal in the wilds. And they just recently were able to catch us with a trap in the forest and be able to bring us here so that they could be able to help us regain our mind and our consciousness, our awareness, basically. Being able to help recover, as Godfrey was putting it, what's left of our humanity. Yeah. So that, and of course, to be safe, this is why they have put us in the stockades. We're in the stockades. Oh, no. But yes, this is now how our character looks when we change to a Worgen. And, yeah. So, that cutscene was made for Cataclysm, so obviously they don't have two different versions where it's the male Worgen and the female Worgen. It would be great if they did. That would be great high production quality if they had been able to do that. But I will say this. Before the model change, the male Worgen was by far the clear-cut favorite when it came to the better-looking model of the Worgen, because the male Worgen looked really good, and the female Worgen looked kind of silly. Just with the way their mouth was, it was just like just an abnormal, just really kind of silly-looking, like, I don't know, snarling-looking smile type of thing. It looked weird. And then when they updated the models, the male one looked really good. I really liked it. But the female model got a much better looking face, to me. I know some people disagree with that, but in my opinion, this is a far better looking model for the female Worgen than it used to. It looked like her little part of her mouth here would be like up here, like just showing the teeth just because. Here she actually looks like, she's not angry all the time. Like she actually can have multiple different facial expressions, as somebody would. A person looking like a werewolf would. Just saying. It's just my take on it. So yeah, time has passed. I will talk more so about Gen and the Wall and Gilneas later. So for now, let's just go ahead and continue where now we have jumped to the beginning of Cataclysm. Time has passed. Things have happened for characters. And I will elaborate on that. However, some of it will also become relevant and be revealed during our time during the starting zone. You'll notice the guy we saved, Krenin, the royal chemist. Remember the guy we saved in that tree? Here he is. All these years later, he is here trying to help us regain our consciousness and our humanity and gain control of ourselves from being just a mindless animal. This is the payoff that because we saved his life, he is now here all these years later to save us in return. And that's awesome. And yes, Godfrey is here, and Gen is here.
Our curse is also our greatest gift.
I need you to pull through, Lornix. This dosage is strong enough to kill a horse. But I know you. I know what you're made of. You will be fine. Trust me. I know what you are going through. Now drink up and close your eyes.
Stand strong, hero.
By the way, we have picked up a new ability called Dark Flight. Really great ability for Worgen, which is activates your true form, increasing current movement speed by an additional 40% for 10 seconds. What in the world? It's another earthquake. By By the way, that reminds me, I didn't go over some of the racial stuff for Worgen, partly because it kind of gets, revealed later on. But we get Dark Flight. We also get a passive called Viciousness, increases your critical strike chance by 1%. Flare, skinning skill is increased by 15 and allows you to skin faster. Aberration, reduces shadow and nature damage taken by 1%. At level 20, we will get Running Wild, which lets us drop to all 4 limbs and run as fast as a wild animal, rather than using a mount. It's a pretty cool looking ability, I will say. And yes, this is the running animation for Worgen. So yeah, here's the male model in the stockades as well. So, think about how many of these Worgen will be saved, and how many of them won't. Just think about that for a moment. The male one back before the models changes, it was more like he would just kind of sway his arms like, ruh, ruh, ruh. It was kind of funny looking, but anyways. You'll also notice some of the players I was running out there earlier, they are now also Worgens as well. So, and you'll notice we cannot change back to a human. Not yet, anyway.
What now?
But I will also show you why I chose this headpiece instead of the other one in just a moment. So, Krennan's potion did not kill you? Well, I suppose that means the human inside of you is in control then. I guess I won't be shooting you after all. At least not yet. Go speak to Krennan Uranus and give him the good news. He's in charge of the house where we keep your kind. Oh, no, wait, let me re-say that. Let me re-say that in the way he says it. He's in charge of the house where we keep your kind. Because yes, that is how Godfrey sees us. Below him. Just remember, I've got my eye on you. You so much as try anything funny, and you get a bullet between the eyes. Yeah, Godfrey, yeah. So, this is what I was thinking about using earlier. Yeah. The snout kind of makes it a little stretched out. So I thought, nah, we'll just go with this. Lets her be able to show off her cute face. Plus, she's a druid, so it looks, very fitting. So, you'll notice some familiar faces in this town. The trainers are still here, the same trainers from before, including Celestine, our trainer. Liam. Yeah, he does not look good. He looks in bad shape. So yeah, we are in Duskhaven, the place that they were talking about. Here are some of the other trainers as well. Here's a weapons vendor in case you immediately want to, like, I gotta go here, gotta repair, gotta clear up my bags. Yeah.
That's enough gabbing for me today.
Also, hold on. And then right here, we are able to get, there are things here that you would not have been in other starting zones, but because this is Cataclysm, they were trying to do stuff like this. Gwen's here. This is a profession trainer. Right here, right off the bat, I like his name, Jack All Trades Darrington. Very nice. But you can immediately pick up your professions that you want to use right here.
Oi.
I'll be like, production professions? How about leatherworking? Oh, train leatherworking.
Watch your back.
You can go to the bank.
How may I help you? I run a stand-up business here.
Right over here, we've got another general goods vendor.
Come to the right spot, you have. Spread the good word,
Priest
eh?
trainer. Right over here, of course there are mailboxes, and then right over here we've got our first innkeeper. And we've got a cooking trainer. And we've got a bandage trainer, or first aid trainer. Remember when that was a thing? That's no longer a thing anymore.
Well met.
By the light, it worked! By the light, it worked! Ah, yes, the effects of the curse cannot ever be fully cured as far as we know. With treatment, however, your mind will remain yours. Do exercise Oh. Welcome back, Lorneeks. You were fortunate. Crenet's treatment doesn't always work this well on people who have had the curse as long as you. Do exercise caution. Don't expect anyone to invite you to their homes just yet, but at least they won't shoot you outright. With treatment, however, your mind will remain yours, and not that of a wild animal. We are fortunate that the treatment worked on you. Normally, I can only treat recent infections. We'll need to continue your medication if we are to have you reverse the curse. I'll need mandrake essence to brew another batch of my serum for you. You will find a crate stashed beneath a shed southwest of town.
Alright. Now that we finally have an inn, we shall stop here since this first part's been over an hour long. Seeing the Warcraft 3 portion of the Worgen starting zone, and now we will be heading into the other one. I think I need to change my shoulders. They kind of clash. Hold on. This is important. This is important. What ones am I using? Okay. Wait, really? Huh. I'm surprised. Ah. Oh, it's because this is the higher stat. I see. Yeah. Shouldn't be that big a deal, honestly. I mean, that does match with what I'm going with. The Shadow Craft set. Could also go with this one, because it looks a bit more druid. I think I might stick with that, yeah. I think the shoulders look well for a druid. But yeah, we have been in the wild for a long time. I think our Worgen deserves a little nap before we continue our adventures. So, I don't know about you, but she is going to lay down. Don't even care about the pillow. Just a nice bed, a nice mattress. She's been out in the wilds all these years. She finally gets to lay on a bed after all this time. So she's going to take a little nice, relaxing, restful nap. Forget about the fact that the cataclysm is going on right now. Just forget about that for a moment, that there's earthquakes going on. Forget about that. And let's just let her have a little nap, and we will come back. Stay tuned.